Welcome to this ToolHound Learning Center video. In this overview of managing PM using the service module, we'll look at the different types of data and actions used to carry out maintenance and emergency repairs. Many components work together to make up the service module. Some are used to set up the fundamentals of what maintenance will be carried out. These are then implemented for the scheduled maintenance. Others are used for the execution of the maintenance. While not core to the service module, the support team can guide you through related administrative tasks and processes to create the best workflow for you. These include setting up background notifications for items coming due for service, using vendors to track external costs, creating custom inventory types to take items out of service, and creating transaction types and inventory statuses to track where inventory is when it's off-site being serviced. Meters describe how often service is performed and can be based on time, number of issues, or a reading value. Optionally, a checklist can be included with a to-do list. And the task defines the service that needs to be done. This can be scheduled on a frequency using the meter or unscheduled. Once tasks have been defined, they are assigned to part numbers. This ensures that each serialized item inherits the service requirement. For time-based tasks, this includes a default last service date. Next, for non-time-based tasks and tools and equipment with an existing service history, the last serviced information should be updated to maintain a consistent schedule. The Service Due Report is the best tool for knowing what tools and equipment are due for service and for forecasting what will be coming due. This is helpful when planning shutdowns, turnarounds, large projects, or when inventory will be in the field long term. Service requests are pre-work orders, usually for unexpected repairs. These all feed into work orders, which can carry not only dates, checklists, notes, but also external and internal costs incurred for the service, as well as attachments for any documentation. Work orders then update the last service, and the cycle begins all over again. Standard meters based on time or issues are provided by default. Additional non-date meters can be added, usually used in conjunction with tasks based on meter readings such as operating hours, mileage, or pressure. If you only need to base your preventative maintenance on time or issues, you'll never need to bother with this page. Checklists are quite interesting for in-house preventative maintenance or when sending items out for a third-party repair. You can create your own custom checklists or recreate a form, as simple or as complex as you choose, with options for groups, single or multiple choice, and the possibility to include a space for remarks. Have a look at Chris's video for a walkthrough of creating checklists. Tasks are the core of service. Similarly to how a part number groups everything of the same general use, description, size, and capacity, a task groups every type of service performed in the same manner. It can, and usually does, apply to multiple part numbers. Think of visual inspections for power cords on different types of powered inventory or basic vehicle maintenance. A planned task for preventative maintenance always includes a frequency defined by a combination of a meter and a number. An unplanned task does not have a frequency. We all know you can't schedule an emergency. There are options for estimated labor and material costs, lists of required tools and materials, and an optional checklist. For maintenance done by a third party, whether sent out or on site, you can supply a recommended vendor and estimated external cost. Each task can also have a specific notification lead time that applies to transactions and transfers to ensure that items coming close to service aren't inadvertently sent out to the field. Here we set the service requirements. Adding tasks to part numbers ensures consistency in tracking and simplifies the addition of new tools and equipment in the future. All items associated with the part number will inherit the service requirements. Note that the last service date will default to the date the task is added or the item is created to ensure that no tool or piece of equipment will escape being reported as due for service at least once in the future. The Serialized Item Service Requirement tab shows the details of each task for the asset. Last service dates or readings combined with the meter frequency on the task determine when the service is next due. This is updated whenever a work order is closed for the task. Whenever new items are added, this information should be brought current from the default value, and this can be done manually on an ongoing basis. Last service dates can also be imported when first implementing maintenance, implementing a new system, or when new requirements arise. Meter readings for tasks with non-time or non-issue based frequencies are usually taken on a regular basis to keep on top of any equipment approaching a service requirement. This is the best way to ensure nothing is overdue. Record the reading in the browser or using the mobile app. They can even be imported if needed. When it comes to knowing what's due for service, there are two options: the report and the wizard. As mentioned previously, the report is great for forecasting. In some cases, you don't need to keep a paper trail or an audit of every time a particular task was performed. In this case, update the last service date on the item to trigger the next service due. The wizard is efficient because after displaying what's coming due for service, it can automatically generate work orders based on the filters you supply. Work orders can be created using the Service Due wizard or manually. They tie the details of a specific task to a specific item. Additional information can be tracked, including the internal and external costs. Each work order accommodates a single task, and from within a work order, you can issue any required tools and materials listed on the task to perform the service for in-house maintenance. You can also launch the change item status on approved work orders. Closing a work order updates the last service on an item, and you can keep track of certs or invoices by attaching digital copies to the work order. Service requests are like other requests or requisitions. Once approved, they are an actionable document, in this case, a work order. Service requests are most frequently used for emergency repairs. To simplify their capture, field users can use Create Service Request. Let's review what we've learned so far. Maintenance can be tracked for uniquely identified inventory only. Service tracking is flexible enough to handle in-house or third-party maintenance, simple or complex. Set up tasks on part numbers before setting initial service requirements on tools and equipment. You aren't obliged to use work orders for every task if it's not necessary for your organization to maintain an audit trail. And consult our support team to determine the best workflow for you. Thanks for watching this video from the ToolHound Learning Center. For any questions, contact our support team, and remember, subscribe and hit the notification bell.